What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another live stream. We are a bit of a mishmash today. Just it's a very hot day in London. Wimbledon's on, and it's also 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to all the Americans out there that watch We Are Tottenham TV. Yeah, but we got a few talking points today.
Happy election day as well to everyone voting.
Forget politics. We ain't talking about politics here on We Are Tottenham TV, I'll tell you that. But yeah, where to start? We've got some games to play with you today, some quizzes. We've got some transfer talk. We've got some squad builders to get through. And also, if you guys want to lead the conversation as well, get into the chat of what you want to talk about, and we'll get it going. But yeah, I can see Americans are in the chat there. Jake Fowler, Fourth Elemento, morning guys, America. Big up to all the Americans. Jaquandre Jones says, happy 4th of July from Detroit.
Remember,
come on, you Spurs.
40 months.
Big up to you, my friend.
Time.
Big up to you.
Time.
The We Are Tottenham army is strong in America. We know that.
Jaquandre, what a lie. What a guy. Love it.
And Rihanna Bowes, Mars 6, Calafiori to Arsenal. I mean, that is going to be...
Don't even get us started on that.
Oh, God.
They found our us praising Calafiori on the channel, the Arsenal fans. They found the video.
I think we should probably delete that now.
Yeah. He's a terrible signing. You've seen his injury record. Terrible, terrible injury record.
Awful.
I think he's going to absolutely flop massively. He was. I think people are blinded by some nice displays for Italy. He's not as good as everyone thinks he is. No,
100%. I completely agree. That run up from the back and that assist in the last minute to get Italy the win that day was just pure luck, in my opinion.
Terrible hair, says Mortimer. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's shocking hair. And he's not even going to get in. Timber's going to come back. He's not even going to play. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good.
Forget Arsenal. Today is about, well, not today, every day is about Tottenham. And Lokesh Kumar says Van de Ven is miles better than Calafiori.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But I guess let's start on what the ITKs are saying about who our next transfer is going to be. And if you believe the ITKs, not just the ITKs are saying it, but Paul O'Keefe and Fabrizio Romano have also alluded to Spurs being in talks to this player. Can you bring up my phone? So we'll bring up the phone in a second. Oh, it looks like it's crashed. Yeah, we'll close it. We'll start this segment off in a second once my phone can get reconnected.
The final boss says, hello from Bristol. Do you think Southgate changes will work? Rumour changes, 3 at the back. Bellingham and Foden both in the number 10. I'm guessing. I'm not 100% sure what he's going for. Don't know if it's going to be a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. I do think 5 at the back is a good change, to be honest.
Back to World Cup 2018.
Yeah, I think Switzerland play 5 at the back, and they're a very solid team, and matching them up is probably the smart thing to do, especially with our injuries.
Yeah, I would say that, but who plays where? If you're playing 3 at the back, does Walker move into centre back?
Yeah, Walker centre back.
So who's right back? Trent right back. Who's left back? Trippier.
So I think Saka.
Why not Trips?
Because Trips is not a good wing back. He doesn't provide the width, and I think Saka will be like a de facto winger with a wing back. Cause he's got the cover of Konsa and Rice behind him, so he can just stay high and wide.
So basically, what we're saying is that Southgate only tried him there because Ian Wright's saying it. Now we're actually going to start him there.
Potentially, yeah.
Which is madness.
But left wing back is a bit different to left back.
And Saka's the one that came out and was like, me at left back and me at... It's not the answer.
No, but I think wing back is a bit different, especially when he's got a couple of players covering him. He can just be a winger. So
if you're saying that, Saka left wing back and Trent right wing back, who's in midfield? Rice and Mainu.
So it depends. Does he do right? Does he do well? If they're saying he's 2 number 10, so he's either Rice, Mainu with a Kane, Bellingham, and Foden with Bellingham and Foden tucked in, or is it a 3 in the middle with Rice, Bellingham, Foden in the middle with Kane and a striker?
I think it will be Foden and Bellingham tucked in. You know, like how Conte always used to say those players are wide, or like number 10.
So if that happens, we definitely need Saka on the wing.
Yeah, I'm going on Saka being on left wing back when I'm saying that.
So I think that could work.
Because if you've got Saka at left wing back, if you've got Trent at right wing back, you don't need the width of Gordon.
then there's creativity there, and I like how all of a sudden this team will have a bit of width, which I think we've been lacking this tournament. On both sides, we're going to have width. We're going to have the quality of Trent on one side, which I think Walker's been a bit poor, I feel, in this tournament with his ability on the ball.
It's crashed again, Sammy.
I think the changes could be positive, and I think it could give. I know it seems to be working
okay.
now. It could give Switzerland something to think about, I feel.
I agree, and I think if we can get past this Swiss team who's looked really good all tournament, there is no reason why we can't get to that final. Turkey or Netherlands in the semis. I know Netherlands look good, but I feel like with Netherlands attacks, with their attacking output and with their attacking lineup, we can definitely stifle them. It's just about if we can score past them because they've got a really good defence.
They do. Rich Frith, happy 4th from Savannah, GA.
Big up to you, my friend. Big up to you. And once again, if you're just joining us here, happy 4th of July to everyone in America. We are live on TikTok as well. So everyone, if you haven't already, please do go and follow us on TikTok. It's something that we're trying to give a major push to at the moment. Everything all right?
I'm just looking at TikTok.
Okay, just looking at the TikTok. But anyway, let's get into what the ITKs are saying. Like I said before, it's nothing new because Paul O'Keefe and Fabrizio Romano have both alluded to this player over the past couple of days, saying that we're in talks with Désiré Doué, a player that me and Sim are both very excited about. 18, I think he's 19 years old now, out in the French league, done bits for Rennes last year. Really exciting talent, can play left wing, can play in the 10 position as well. And so let's go and look at what the ITKs are saying on ITK Hub. What lies beneath is a tier 2, and he says, Doué waiting for the green light from camp. Player excited about the proposal from Tottenham. Poseidon says, Poseidon, says, Doué excited by Spurs' proposal. Spurs in talks with Rennes, so far so good, fingers crossed. He also said on Eze, Palace confident that they could keep him as of right now. His clause is the only thing that they can't control, and upwards of 50 million is to be paid up front and more. And Neto, players camp, has been spoken to. Had he not got injured towards the tail end of last season, I'd be willing to bet money on that he'd be a Spurs player by now. But with the injury issues, Spurs have become a bit uncertain. I could see us trying to get him irrespective of what happens with Doué or Eze. I think most will get 2 forwards, not in the same position. So, for example, I can't see Eze and Doué, since they're similar players. Although of course I would welcome it. And then Mysterio says, Ipswich considering Spence, and we are in fairly advanced talks with Doué.
Well, when the ITKs line up and when they're all saying very similar things, I don't know. I wouldn't say it always comes true, because you can't always take what the ITKs say that reliably. They're not like proper journalist reporters. But usually, what I would say is, when all the ITKs are all saying very similar things, there's usually no smoke without fire. And that's quite interesting that they're all mentioning Doué, and they're all saying that we're in talks with Rennes, and one of them even saying talks advanced. I'm not going to start getting excited yet, but what I will say is Doué would be a brilliant signing for Tottenham, and he's exactly the kind of winger Spurs are looking for. Get his FB ref up, and you can see exactly what I mean by what kind of winger he is, and he's a winger who's been fantastic in the Liga last season for Rennes, playing on the left-hand side. It's interesting, a couple of years ago he was playing a bit more of a central role. Last season he's definitely been more on the wing, and he's exactly the kind of exciting winger that Spurs want, taking players on. And I know he's only 18, so caveats with, a player who's still developing, and he's not obviously at his peak, and obviously, as he has only done it in the French league, and has he done it? He hasn't had, I guess, he got 4 goals and 4 assists last season, which is pretty good for an 18-year-old, but obviously he hasn't absolutely smashed it yet, with massive numbers. But I think when you look at him play, when you look at his potential and look at his underlying data, I mean, it's there for all to see, I feel.
Yeah, if you look at this chart from FB Ref, he's got progressive passes in the 83rd percentile, progressive carries in the 99th percentile, successful take-ons in the 99th percentile, touches in the attacking penalty area in the 97th percentile, progressive passes received in the 99th percentile, and then even in the defensive metrics, he's in the 90th percentile for blocks, 50th percentile for interceptions. But only 44 percentile for tackles. But I still think it's very, very strong when you look at that. Shot creating actions, 97th percentile. Assists, 83. Shots total, 97. Non-penalty goals, 90th percentile. I mean, this guy so strong on the metrics as well. When you're looking at, Johan Langer and the club really looking at the data-led approach, I mean, he would be at the top of the list.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think as well, when a lot of people who don't like the data-led approach and they go for the eye test, I think all you have to do is see a few highlights of him, or when you watch him play for Rennes, and you can see the quality that he does have and how exciting he is. He's lightning quick. He's got a box of tricks as well. He's a very tricky customer. He takes people on. He's brave. I think
box of tricks is taking it lightly. Go and watch his reel on YouTube. Some of the back flicks and the way he takes people on is just insane.
Yeah. So I think this would be a really exciting signing. I'm looking at last season. It says he started in the league, started 17 games, and it says here 13 left winger, 4 in the central attacking midfield, 4 in centre mid as well. So definitely a player who can play centrally as well.
Yeah.
Which is
and those this metric here is actually him versus midfielders. This FB ref chart right now. So if we want to look at versus attackers, as someone just clearly pointed out in the comments, passes attempted 68th percentile, progressive passes 94th percentile, progressive carries 73rd percentile, take-ons 94th percentile, progressive passes received 76. And look at these defensive metrics as a winger, tackles 85th percentile, interceptions 94th percentile, blocks 96th percentile.
Yeah, and when I look at him as a wing, like a winger, the metrics there, I'm looking at key passes, pass into the final third. Let me see key passes could be a bit better, 54th percentile, but successful take-ons, he's clearly very good at dribbling. Progressive carries, very good. Progressive passes, really good. Look, he's not the finished article, I think we can definitely see here, but the potential is there for all to see, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
near the top.
Data-led approach as well puts Timo Werner very high up the list as well. And I think that is why we ended up pushing the button on him, because he does perform very well on the metrics, like really well. Yeah,
well, there's some very specific metrics he performs very well at, and I thought he had some really good data when he was at Tottenham. But yeah, that's why I feel like we're not going to get a Neto and a Doué. Now we've got Werner, I feel, probably through the door, as much as I think that's probably what's required for this squad. A Neto and a Doué, because if one of them is injured, you've got another dribbly winger there as well. But now we've signed Werner, it's unlikely we get 2. I do think it's probably only going to get 1, I would say.
I'm not sure. I kind of agree with how'd you say it? Poseidon. I kind of agree with him. I don't see us getting a Doué and a Eze, but I can see us getting a Doué and a Neto. I really can.
I hope so.
But I think Doué and Eze are too similar. They both cover the same positions where you're looking at the number 10 and the wing spot. But Neto is currently just solely on the wings. So I'd love to see both of them come in. I really would.
I think it would be really beneficial to us to have those 2 options, plus the options we have already. Because I feel like Johnson and Werner are quite similar in terms of how they do things on the wing. They can be effective, but they're more get to the byline and get the cutbacks. They're not really take people on, but they're effective at running in behind. And then you'll have Neto and you'll have Doué, who like the ball to feet and like to take people on and actually like to commit players and create chances that way. So it gives you different options. Then obviously you've got Decky, who can play on the wing, who's a bit more creative, who likes the ball to feet but doesn't like to take people on, likes to pass the ball a bit on that side as well. So I feel like the options there would be there with those 2 players.
Is there a case to say that we're signing too many youngsters when you're looking at the 18 and 19-year-old market? We've got in Gray, we've got in Bergvall, Vuskovic is coming in next season. The defensive line is obviously very young as well. And if we bring in another Doué, literally, we've got so many teenagers in our first team squad.
Spurs under 18s.
Literally.
I mean, I don't see a problem with it, and I mean, unless you're fearing that we're doing like a Chelsea, and just signing our whole team is going to be young and inexperienced, and we're just going to have no experience at all, and sometimes that takes a lot of time for those players to bed in and gel. When we saw last season with Chelsea, wasn't until the last few games of the season they started to click really. Is there a fear of us doing that? I would say no, because we've got a good nucleus of experienced players. Most players would have been here from last season anyway and would have had that season together. So as long as we're signing a mix, I don't mind if it's a lot of them are teenagers, because that's only going to benefit our future anyway.
Let's go and compare him to maybe our wingers now. So if you go Doue, this is on Data MB. Who shall we compare him to?
Do Johnson.
So that's last season. You can see they are, have their different strengths, do
That's
they?
what I was saying. They're good at different things.
So, I mean, Doue is much stronger at carrying the ball. His off-the-ball actions, his dribbling, non-penalty goals as well. And then you've got Brennan, who's better at his key passes and better at his assists as well.
It's quite Brennan's key passes are really strong, actually.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive.
And if you take away Brennan and maybe put in a Timo there.
I reckon it'll be fairly similar. That's my prediction.
Well, Werner's not there.
Or
Werner's
is he
down
a
as a
forward?
striker.
You can do
do Son.
Decky or Son. Son also a striker.
This is Song from the previous season only. Kulusevski.
Yeah, you could do Son from the previous season. What from 22?
That's Kulusevski. It's not that too dissimilar.
Mm.
The only
Key
thing
passes.
that Kulusevski is really much better at is the key passes.
Yeah, they're all it's very similar to Decky. What's that Doué is much better than him? Is that assists? Yeah, so he gets a bit more assists.
And dribbles.
Okay, fair enough.
This is Heung-min Son from the previous season, so probably his worst season, you'd say, in a Spurs shirt.
See what it would bring. But you could do him to like other good wingers, like let's say like a Martinelli or something.
Martinelli had a poor season. Let's do Saka. So that's him compared to Saka.
So quite similar on what Doué's good at. They're quite similar, but obviously Saka's much better than these other facets.
Who else do you want to see?
Trossard might be a good one to look at.
That's him compared to Trossard. So what Trossard has on him is the non-penalty goals and the XG and XA.
Yeah, it gets him more goal-scoring positions.
But everything else, Doué actually is trumping him.
I think that makes sense, because I feel like Trossard, he's one of these players who kind of makes the difference in the final third, but actually when build up and overall play, he's not that involved.
That's why he's actually done so well this season, because he comes up with the moments, doesn't he? But he doesn't impact the game maybe as much as you would like. 100%.
What about like
I agree
Doku?
with that.
Doku's a good one to compare him to.
Wow, that's Doku.
See, Doku.
I don't know why they did it both in blue, but Doku actually, I can't tell which one's which because they're both in blue.
Doku's the bigger one.
Doku's the one that has basically at the end of every spectrum. Doku looks brilliant. If you look at this, I don't even think Doku's had such a strong season.
Someone said Gordon. Look at Gordon.
Gordon? That's Gordon.
Okay, not too dissimilar.
You got to remember, guys.
He's
I know
18,
it's in the French league, but when these stats were made, he was 18. He's actually 19 now, I believe. But I think this would be a really smart signing for Spurs. I really believe that.
Yeah, we're comparing him to players who are a lot older than him and also got Premier League experience and have had great seasons. We're comparing him to the players who had the best seasons in the league, pretty much. And he's comparing not too badly.
Do Pedro Neto. That should be an interesting
Neto,
one.
okay, yeah, I like that.
That's Pedro Neto.
So it's not too dissimilar.
It's just the things that that you can improve with better coaching, the key passes and getting in the good areas and knowing when to pass it and improving the end product. That can be coached.
Exactly, and he's still so young, so those are things that are going to improve. Obviously, Neto, you can see there when he's on the pitch, he's just brilliant, isn't he? Key passes are there, the dribbles, the carries, assists. I think he was, even though he missed a lot of the second half of the season, he was still one of the top assisters in the league, wasn't he?
Yeah, 100%. And what's really impressive about Doue is his work rate. Because you can be all flash and everything, and sometimes you can get a bit ahead of yourself when you're that age, but his work rate is second to none. And you can see that by the metrics as well. The amount, his pressing, really good. When he gets on the ball, he's at it. So, I mean, I think we should get this over the line. I'd be really excited.
Do Team Britannia.
I
I don't think he's still playing. Nico Williams.
Nico Williams.
This is the Compare Doue hour.
That's
Wow.
Nico Williams.
So good. That's just incredible. That's why we need Nico. That's just the difference, isn't it? That's what you're paying that extra,
Yeah.
however much.
But anyway, that is the reason why we should be signing Désiré Doué, and that is the reason why we're so excited about him. And it's music to our ears that Spurs ITKs, along with Paul O'Keefe and Fabrizio Romano, are all linking him to us right now. And again, as we said with Archie Gray about him being a major coup for the club, how we can get him over many other clubs, I think many other clubs are interested in him as well.
Definitely. And I feel like if we can't get Nico, which seems obviously going to be very unlikely,
It could probably be a similar price, though. That's the thing.
if we well, I guess with his release clause, if we can't, I reckon Doue you can probably get for around 30. I'm going to assume. If you can't, if we're too worried about Neto's injuries, then I do think this is a really good option, and because he's really young, he's got really high potential. I reckon he can make an impact right now on the first team. As much as I don't know if he's going to be, on one of the leading wingers in the league, but I do think he can come in and make an impact, and then in a few years' time he might be at that level. Albeit, you did see Saka break into the Arsenal team at a similar age, and you saw how good he can be.
Yeah.
So I think this could be a really smart piece of business from Tottenham if we get him in.
Agreed. So make it happen, Tottenham. Come on, let's have our second signing of the season. And look, Ali Gold did say last week that Spurs are still pushing to bring in 2 players before the start of pre-season. Pre-season starts on Saturday.
But I guess the only question mark is, I mean, to your point, are we signing too many young players? What I would say is, if we do start the season signing as Archie Gray and a Doué, obviously those are 2 exciting signings, but I'm sure that's going to come with a fairly big outlay. That would have been 60 million between those 2 players, I guess. I'm going to assume. Is that those 2 moves represent progress in terms of chasing down the top 3, and what would we have to do on top of that to really say we've had a great summer?
It's a good question. I think we need to beef up that midfield a little bit with a defensive midfielder, potentially an upgrade on Richarlison, but I don't think that's a necessity. But I think also we need a cover for left centre back and left back as well. We still haven't sorted out that issue.
So if Richarlison is not a necessity, are you okay with just Doué and then that's it?
In the front line?
In the front line, I mean.
But I was saying Doué and Neto.
Oh, and Neto. Okay. Yeah, we need another player.
If we were to sign Doué and Neto, I wouldn't hold it against the club for not upgrading in the 9 position. Are you agreeing?
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like if we don't get another winger, we probably need to get a striker.
If we sign Doué and Neto, that says to me Son's going to be our number 9 next season.
Yeah, and that's fine with me, because I think all you need to do is give him chances and he'll score.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is the situation on Désiré Doué. Next up, the football tenable is actually Spurs related today, so we thought we'd bring that up for you guys. I think, look, I know you guys and us, we're going to fly through this one. Easy. We have to guess, or we have to make out the top most expensive Tottenham signings according to Transfer Market.
According to Transfer Market.
I mean, surely we get this with no skips. With no lives. So Ndombele is obviously there.
Tanguy. Is he 1 or 2? 1.
Richarlison.
Yeah, Richarlison's 2.
Can we get this from 1 to 2 all the way down without?
So who would be 3? Would it be Brennan or Lo Celso? I think that the thing is on Transfer Market, because it was a loan fee with Lo Celso, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I think it'd be Brennan.
So Brennan 3?
I think Brennan.
Because, Brennan would be more than Romero and Van de Ven. Yeah. So if he was, what, 47? So next one, what did he be? How much was Van de Ven? 45 or 40? He was
No,
40.
he was a bit less, wasn't he?
Was he 30 or 37?
I think something like that. Wouldn't Romero be up there?
Romero was, what, 42? Romero was 42. Madison was 40.
I think Romero would be fourth. Maybe Lo Celso. Romero or Lo Celso.
Depends how they've done it.
Yeah.
Sanchez, actually, that's a good
Oh,
shout.
Davinson.
Sanchez was like 42.
Should we go Davinson?
Got on Sanchez. He's in the top 10 anyway. Let's see.
Oh.
7.
All right, let's
So
go.
it's got to be. So ahead of him has to be Romero.
I'm going to go Lo Celso. Oh, Lo Celso's
what?
not even there.
See, this is what I was saying. He is there, but because they've taken away the loan fee, because we paid a big loan fee, his actual transfer
All
fee
these
was a lot
transfers
less.
were dodgy. Romero was a loan and Porro was a loan and all these dodgy deals.
Oh yeah, how much was Porro? He was 40.
But he was a loan first, wasn't he? And it was all split the costs.
Yeah, but I don't know if he was. The difference with Lo Celso, if we paid a substantial loan fee for the year, and then we bought him permanently. Porro, I don't know if the loan fee was that substantial.
So we go Porro?
I think Romero has to be there, surely.
Yeah, Romero's 4.
Okay, Romero.
Porro?
Yeah. So what? He's a below Sanchez.
Yeah, Porro is 8.
Um,
Oh, that's a good shout. Musa Sissoko.
he was 30.
Lamella?
He was also 30. Van der Ven will be there then because he was 40. Mickey has to be there.
Van de Ven?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's there.
Why? He was 40.
I thought he was less. I thought it was like 40 with add-on. Oh, he's under Porro.
He's under Porro.
He's 9.
So 5. Who's 5? Who are we missing in 5 and 6? Madison. Who would we have signed for big money? We didn't really sign anyone for massive money pre the stadium, apart from Sissoko.
How much was Madison?
He was 40. So I guess Madison might be there.
Let's try Someone keeps saying Bergwijn. Bergwijn
He was
wasn't
27.
Yeah, Madison. There you go.
Okay,
6.
6. Sessegnon, no, 25. Oh, Decky. I don't think he'd be there. Would he, Decky? Because he was.
No, Decky was cheap, wasn't he?
I don't think he was more than 30. Was he?
So we're just missing 5 and 10.
Soldado was
10 might
27.
be. Do you reckon 10 could be Lamella or Sissoko?
Oh, he's Archie Gray. No. It's more likely to be Sissoko, I would say. Could be Sissoko.
Yeah, there we go. Sissoko and 10. So we're just missing 1.
So-
We're missing 1. Big up, Brian Daigle. Daigle, come on, give us the answer here. Who is Spurs' 5th most expensive signing?
Trying to think, is anyone who's
Less than Romero, more than Madison.
Sumo was what, 25, 35? 35 with add-ons.
This has got to be over 40 million.
Bentancur. Who's number 6?
Who's number 6?
Yeah.
Madison.
Madison, so he's just above Madison at 40. It's not Lo Celso, it's not Brian Hill. Depending on how they rate, no, because it was player plus cash. Everyone's saying Kulusevski. It can't be Kulu. He wasn't more than Madison, was he?
I don't think so.
Not to my knowledge.
But again, Kulusevski again was another dodgy deal because we loaned him and then we brought him in.
Yeah. We loaned him for 18 months, didn't we? And then signed him permanently.
Unless they put all those fees together, then it probably is.
But then why is Lo Celso not there? Because he was over 50 with all those fees together.
Saying Gray was Gray. Do you reckon Gray's there?
Well, he's 25 plus Rodon.
He's not 25 plus Rodon because they were separate deals.
Then he's not there then.
Didn't we spend? Because the original thing for Archie Gray was we spent 40 million and they sent us 10.
Is this including to what? I guess it would be.
Let's try Gray.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, maybe that does make sense actually. I guess. How is this our last life?
No, we got another one after this.
Okay.
Archie Gray. There you go. Big up, guys. Only one life lost.
Tenabled.
You got tenabled.
Come on, people.
I want to bring up something for you. Can you just take off my phone for a sec? I want to bring up something to you. I've been talking about this a lot recently. Haven't talked about it on YouTube, so I think it's about time. All right, bring my phone back up. Dele Alli, people. Dele Alli. What are you lot saying? I want to know honest opinions, guys. He is training at the moment. He's got no club. He loves the club. He looks fit. He looks healthy. He looks bang at it. He's training with a few other Premier League players at the moment, and he looks sharp as hell. Can sort out a bit of the homegrown issue as well. I think Spurs should get him training pre-season, and if Ange likes the look at him, if he can get on with Ange and Ange likes the way he's working, this could be a stroke of genius, guys. That's what my opinion is.
I know on their reports that we've helped him. We've offered him training. We've offered him a place to train while he gets fit.
So if we can do that and Ange actually goes like, you know what? You're fitting in here, because we know a top Dele Alli works very hard on the football pitch, and I think he would suit what Ange is trying to do here as well.
Where would he fit in? Back up to Maddison?
Rotation to Maddison. He could potentially play the 8, can potentially play... I don't even know where else apart from that. Again, with Pochettino, he did play on the wings a bit, but I don't think he can play on the wings in an Ange system.
No, I don't think either. Look, I love Dele. I think it would be a romantic move if he was to come back to Tottenham and be as good as he was, but I don't know if it's the right thing. Well, it would be a lot of pressure on him, I feel. I'm not saying
definitely bring him back. What I'm saying is bring him back and train with Spurs, and if Ange likes what he sees, then sign him up. He's a free transfer.
If we believe he can be as good as he was, if that's what we're seeing in training, then I'm all for it. Does it? I'm not 100% sure he has a natural space in this team, to be honest, because I think he was at his real best for Tottenham when he was kind of playing second striker next to Kane in a back three system, and he did very well when he was like a teenager in midfield. I don't know if that's his main role. I don't know what. Do you know what? It's been so long. I don't know what his best position is anymore, to be honest. It could be anything, because he's been out of form for so long, and he hasn't been on a pitch really for the past year or so. Mm-hmm. Obviously in Turkey as well, it didn't work out. Everton they didn't know where to play him. I felt, and they didn't know what his best position was.
Yeah, but I don't think you can really compare it. If we led to believe that he has put his problems in the past and he's moving forward, he's got a fresh mind. Hopefully the mental health issues that he was going through are behind him, because these mental health issues started at Tottenham. He spoke about them under Jose Mourinho when he had them. Against Everton, when he was at Everton, when he was in Turkey, he was, he wasn't a well man. He wasn't a well man.
I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm just saying how.
That's what I'm saying. You can't really compare those times when you're talking about him coming into the team now.
I'm just saying that was the last we saw of him. Yeah. And how old is he now? 28. Dele?
Yeah, about 28.
So he's 28. Dele at 28, I don't know what his best position is. I don't know where he profiles best.
I think he'll be in the 8 or the 10.
I don't know. It requires a lot of fitness.
What about the 9?
I don't think we should sign him as a striker. He's never been a good... he's been a good second striker, only playing off someone. He's never been a good number 9 by himself. In fact, he had a little spell in the number 9 under Mourinho. Didn't do particularly well.
He's got quite a build to him. I reckon he can hold up the ball. He definitely knows how to finish. He knows how to make those runs. I don't see why he wouldn't do well as a 9 in the Ange system.
Because I don't know if it requires a lot. I think it requires to have abilities I don't think we've seen from Dele, apart from his ability to arrive late in the box. But you don't want that from the striker. From a striker, you're going to have him in the box all the time, and he's going to be marked. He's going to be looked at. He's going to have defenders on him. He's not going to have that ability of like a second striker or a midfielder who makes those late runs untracked because the midfielder's lost their marker and he arrives late in the box and scores. When you're a striker, the main focus is on you. Now, to be fair, we saw Decky do it a couple of games at the end of the season. If Decky can do it to that role, could Dele? What I would say is I think Decky has different kind of skill sets to Dele, in my opinion. I think he's got more upper body strength. I think he's stronger than Dele. I think he's better with close control and shielding the ball than Dele. Dele, even at his best, was constantly losing the ball. Even at his best, he wasn't a player who would keep the ball very well. He's a player who could come up with magic moments, don't get me wrong. He's a player who could come up with a jack-in-the-box trick, you know? He can come up with a trick up his sleeve. That's the best phrase I should say. He would always come up with a magic moment in a game. But even at his very best, Dele, even when he was at his absolute peak, I remember we said this all the time, he would have games where he was terrible and quiet, and whenever you'd give the ball to him, he would give it away. But because he'd come up with a trick up his sleeve, we would forget all those other things because he'd come up with a magic moment. I just don't know if that's what we need.
But is that not what we're missing sometimes in these games? Like just that bit of X factor to win us the game, to come up with a moment of magic. Aren't we missing that?
But we have players who could do, you've got players like Maddison who should be able to do that. We don't need, I don't think, Dele to do that. We should be able to have that in the squad right now, I would say. I guess maybe without Maddison, we are lacking it a bit, I would say. Maybe you have a point there. But I don't know. I just feel like Dele wouldn't be the right fit for us.
Yeah, look, I do get what you're saying, that I don't think there is a natural fit for him in this squad. I agree with that. But what I would say is, like I said before, like if Ange can see something in him in training, homegrown player for free, that could potentially be an unbelievable player for us if he is back at it and back right. And that's only for Ange to decide once he sees him in training. But if he does decide that that's the way to go, it could save us so much money in the short term and give us kind of, I'm not saying start him every game, have him as a squad option even. Coming off the bench late in games to change something. I think it would be brilliant.
It would be an incredible story, that's for sure. If something would like that to happen, it would be one of those stories which I just kind of wanted to happen just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
You can't help but feel like if we were to re-sign Dele on a free, what a story that would be. And it's one of those things you just want to see happen, just because of curiosity.
Yeah,
I want to see happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it's more than that, and obviously the nostalgia. It's usually Sim pushing the nostalgia thing, to be honest, and I'm the one battering it away. But it's me bringing it up this time and me wanting it to happen. I love Dele, and I've spent the last couple of nights just watching Dele compilations, and it's just made me remember how good he was, man. So, some of his assists and some of his goals for Spurs in that 3-year period were just unreal, weren't they?
Some of the best we've ever seen, I would say. But the sad reality is it's probably coming up on 7 years since we've seen the Dele, which was a Dele we would like to see on the pitch. It's been that long now. And as much as I'd love something like that to happen and him to complete his journey of recovery by coming back to Tottenham and getting back to his best, it would be an incredible story. I just don't know if it's realistic.
Yeah, I would be a lot more for it if he was considered as club trained. I think I was speaking to Josh King a few nights ago. I think he missed out on that by like 6 months or something by joining Spurs.
Yeah, when he signed for us, I don't know how old he was. I know when he first played, he was 19.
Yeah, because we signed and then we loaned him back to MK Dons, didn't we?
So does that not count?
No, because he needs to be available for the club.
I think I tell you why I don't think it counts. I don't think he officially joined until summer. Maybe that's why.
That's it. Yeah,
he didn't officially join. So, but like a pre-signing.
Judging by the comments, it doesn't seem like many of you agree with me, but I'm still going to be banging on about it because I love this man. But like I said, it's all down to Ange. If Ange looks at him in training, and let's say we do, for argument's sake, we do take him back for training, and says, and we don't go for him, then that's fair enough. Then I'll completely back that. But if we were to bring him back and Ange saw a spark in him in training and saw that glint in his eyes, I think it could be something special.
I would love it. I'd love it if it was to happen.
But yeah, there you have it. That is my 2 cents on Dele. I want to know your thoughts in the comments section below.
What about bringing Bell back out of retirement?
You know what? You know what?
He ain't doing anything at the moment. He's being a pundit. For the
You know what I'd love to see Bell do now is go to Wrexham. That's what I'd love to see him do.
he should. Why not? End his career there in Wales. I reckon he would still...
Bale was way too young to retire at the quality that he is. Way too young to retire.
He had a lot more to give.
I don't know.
I feel like, obviously at Tottenham he was still pretty good. And then he can still have a lot to give. I feel like he didn't adjust his position with his age. Obviously, he was like consistently a right winger, but like he should have made the adjustment a bit like Ronaldo did to either a number 10 or false 9 or number 9, a bit more central, so he didn't have to do too much running because he's got the quality to do that, but he never did. And I felt like Bale, I don't know if maybe he just didn't want to do it, and he's like, look, I can't play right wing, I'm just going to play, I'm just going to retire.
Yeah.
I haven't done enough. Maybe that's how he felt. But I felt like if he would have adjusted his game, and if for the last 5 years of his career became a more of a central player, I reckon he could have extended his career. Yeah,
but you saw that little interaction that he had with Jose Mourinho at the Champions League final. Or did Jose say, yeah, I think by the time I managed you, you were more interested in being champion at Augusta. And I think that's what it come down to. I think he actually valued his golf more than his football in the latter stage of his career. And unfortunately, it wasn't his priority anymore, I don't think.
I don't know if it's not a priority. I just think he'd lost that drive, you know? Pardon the pun. He would. I just feel like he didn't he'd won all those trophies. He'd won all those Champions Leagues. And
he'd never stopped getting shit year after year after year, just getting shit after shit after shit.
Yeah, and maybe that was the reality. I
think the Real Madrid fans just killed him.
That was it.
And the injuries as well.
I feel like he could have gone in another direction, but unfortunately, never did.
Yeah. If he would have finished his career at number 9, he could have stayed on. Maybe he should have just played for Wales and that was it.
Yeah,
not had a club. Just gone out there for Wales in the tournaments, because Wales they didn't qualify for this tournament because they don't have that X factor anymore.
He'd still be their best player now.
Yeah, of course he would. Of course he would. Shall we do this squad builder then?
Squad builder.
How are we doing this? All right, we're gonna do the squad builder now. We're gonna stay with the settled defense because we ain't changing anything in this defense. Vicario, Udogie, Van de Ven, Romero, and Pedro Porro. But we're gonna leave the rest to a vote. So we're not gonna vote just with the players that we have now, but we're gonna vote with the players that we have been linked to and who you want to see at this football club. So we'll start off with the number 6 position.
All we're gonna do is a YouTube poll.
Yeah, YouTube poll. We'll start off with the number 6 position. First of all, big up to, I can't see who it is now, but someone sent us some footballs on TikTok. Matty. Of course it's Matty. Big up to you, Matty. And yeah, so we're going to start off with the number 6. So I guess, who should we put in the poll for the number 6? Bissouma.
So obviously Bissouma is one of the options, which he's currently at Tottenham. I guess Edison's still available. He would have to be an option. Onana has having a great Euros in Belgium at the moment.
We've spoken about Onana so many times, me and you, and I think what you have said in the past, that you don't think he's good enough on the ball, or he might not be good enough in the ball for an Ange system, the way you need from a number 6. Has these Euros changed your mind at all?
Slightly. I have to say that I've definitely been impressed with him. I think he's been a lot better on the ball than he has been for Everton. I still don't think he's the best passer, but I think he did have some really great switches of play, what I saw from Belgium. And what I really liked about him is his ability to drive a bit into midfield. I still think he's a bit more of a safety-first passer, a bit similar to Bissouma. He goes for the safe option first, but he's definitely went up in my estimation when it came to his ability on the ball. And from that point of view, I feel like if he plays more regularly, like for Tottenham, in that kind of formation, maybe it can improve dramatically.
So I guess let's put the voting out between Bissouma, Onana, Edison, and Bentancur.
Or Gray.
And
Go
Gray. How many can we have? We'll put
Four, I think.
Gray. We'll put Gray in the. And we were off air, and I was saying to Sammy, no one's going to pick Gray to start in the starting lineup. He was like, trust me, they will. Trust me, they will. I was saying no.
Am I doing it or are you doing it?
Yeah, you go for it. Do it. Sim's going to do the. Could put Tyrese Hall. I don't think Tyrese Hall is going to start for us next season, though.
4 options.
Oh, we can only have 4.
Yeah. Oh no.
We can only have 4 options, so we'll have Edison, Onana, Gray, and Bissouma.
Oh.
I think that's 4 realistic shouts.
Bissouma, Nana, Gray, and who?
Bissouma,
Bissouma, Nana, Gray,
Edison.
Edison. Who will be our starting 6?
Is this who they want to be or who they think will be?
Who they want to be, I guess. Yeah, who they want to be.
Oh, it looks like Gray is storming into the lead.
I will pick Gray. FL Mems 23. Gray 100%. First fan account says Gray.
There's been, I think, heavy reports that that Manchester United are going for what's his name from PSG, the centre mid. Name just skips my mind for a second.
Centre mid from PSG.
Yeah, the CDM.
Ugarte.
Yeah, Ugarte. Why are we not in for him?
Oh, I wouldn't mind Ugarte.
Why are we not in? We should be in for him.
At WeAreTottenhamTV. What's this?
So at the moment, Gray is leading on 54%, Edison on 25%, Bissouma on 11%, and Onana on 9%. I don't have an issue with Gray starting. I just don't. Sammy, what are you doing?
Oh.
And then he's putting Gray in. I just can't see. I just can't see Gray from the start of the season being our starting 6 next season.
I'd be shocked if he's our starting 6.
I agree with you. What you keep saying. You know, I feel like he's going to be definitely at the beginning competition for Pedro Porro at that right back spot. That's what I think he's going to be.
I think that's a smart thing to do. Less pressure on him. Doesn't have to be a guaranteed player, but also finds himself in positions where he can still develop as a midfielder. We know he can play right back to a good standard as well. And I think it'll still help his development. It's where he can get minutes. And I think it will help his development as a midfielder anyway.
So Onana is currently bottom of this poll. Bissouma is second bottom with Edison in second and Gray at first. So the people have spoken.
Archie Gray, how many votes we are lending? It's 143 votes at the moment. Get involved in the poll, people. Spam the votes.
Who would you pick out of these 4?
I think I'll probably pick Edison.
Edison. Yeah. I mean, for me, I'd pick Edison or Onana right now.
What's this? Someone sent us a tweet. Would you sign this Premier League player? I don't know who this...
It's Timo.
Timo?
I don't know. It looks like Timo.
No, it can't be because he didn't score that many goals. He's a forward. Maybe it's Richarlison. It's probably Richarlison, I reckon. And he said, as a reference, Haaland has 0.65.
I'll bring it up on
goals.
I'll bring it up on the phone, and maybe people can guess who it is. Is it in our notifications?
Yeah.
Bring up the phone, Sammy.
We'll get back to the poll in a sec. But who is it? No, is it that? No, that's Haaland. Go up, scroll up. Down. Up.
That's all I've got.
No, there's another one. There's another tweet.
By who?
Wait, this one.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Well, here we go.
So here, that one. Is that Richarlison? I'm guessing that's Rishi. Who is this? He says, would you sign this Premier League player? I mean, he looks good.
Hippie Nerd, are you watching us right now? We want to know.
He looks good. He looks fine. I reckon it's Richie. Let me see. Let me do some research. One sec.
Get Richie's FB ref up and see.
It's Richarlison, isn't it?
Brian, who did you vote in the poll?
Yeah, it's Richarlison.
It is.
Yeah.
So look at this, guys. This is Richarlison's FB ref.
Imagine we were linked to that player. We would be like waxing lyrical. Like, what a player! I can't believe it.
And this is Haaland's. Just shows you the data's not everything.
So Wood have a better player. So Richarlison's better than Haaland.
Yeah.
That's what the data says.
Anyway, bring the team back up.
Well, I think Gray's percentage has gone right down.
Got 218 votes. We're going to stop at 250, I say. I think Gray will still win.
If we stop at 250, well, yeah.
What should we go to? 300?
Let's do a time thing. It should be a timer. 5 minutes is fair.
How long has it been up for?
4 minutes. Oh, there you go. 5 minutes.
Okay. 5 minutes each. And Gray has won. And as you can see, Gray is there in the number 6. We'll go to the number 8. So we got Sarr. We got Bentancur. We're going to add Bergvall in there? Or are we going to have him in the 10?
We're going to add probably in the 10, I would say.
Conor Gallagher.
Conor, yeah. We'll add Conor Gallagher and
Dele.
maybe Ramsey.
Dele.
Dele. Where's the thing? No, Dele would be a 10, I would say.
All right.
Yeah.
Sarr Bentancur. Brian voted for Gray.
Wow. Gallagher and Ramsey, I would probably say.
Okay, fine.
Who's got Gallagher?
Gall GCHER. Dele 20. That's me.
Who do you want to be our starting 8 next season? 3-2. Okay. Should play in the 8.
All right, here you go. 5 minutes to choose who your 8 is for next season. Sarr, Bentancur, Gallagher, or Ramsey.
As expected, I would say Sarr is well in the lead.
Not well, only 6%. It's actually very... It's going to be tight between Sarr and Bentancur. Who do you want? Sarr, Bentancur? I don't want Gallagher. I don't mind Ramsey as a squad option, but not my starting 8 for next season. I think Bentancur and Sarr are really good options to have for the 8.
I agree. I think they're very good options, and Sarr's only going to improve. Bentancur, we've still got to see him at his best in this system as well. We haven't quite seen that. I just don't see a need for a Gallagher or Ramsey. I think both of those players are capable of doing what Ramsey and Gallagher can do. What I would say is Gallagher is a really, really good presser, has a bit more ability on the ball, but I do think Sarr and Bentancur have the ability to be just as good as him, like down the line.
And I feel that with Pape Matar Sarr, he's just had his breakout season. First year pretty much starting as a starter for us. He's only going to get better.
100%.
And I feel next season we're going to see Sarr on an even better level.
I agree. I think he's only going to get better and better. All right.
Well, Harjan said you didn't put Ollie Skip.
Skip,
We forgot Skip in the 6th.
So none of you are interested in Gallagher or Ramsey.
I bet you Brian Daigle put Gallagher.
Who did you put in, Brian?
Brian Daigle put Sarr. Ramsey too injury prone. Bentancur is off. And Gallagher, I would
He's
rather
off?
Dora
What do you mean
the
he's off?
Explorer. Brian thinks Bentancur is leaving.
What are you chatting about, Brian?
Maybe that offers him not playing too well.
Explain yourself, Brian.
There was a funny press conference, wasn't there, with Bielsa and Bentancur last week?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I saw bits of it. When he said Bentancur completes the pitch.
Completes the pitch, and he goes. yeah, do you remember that time I likened you to a Brazilian midfielder? And Bentancur goes, yes. And he goes, do you remember who that midfielder was? And Bentancur goes, no. And then Bielsa goes, well, it's I'm so proud to see that all my players take so much notice in what I say.
Love that.
So at the moment, Sarr is winning. Bentancur's percentage is going down. We got 3 more minutes to pick who our starting 8 is next season. I think it's only fair to have Sarr as our starting 8 from the start of the season, to be fair. With the season that he's had, with the season that Bentancur has had, it's up to Bentancur to earn that shirt back.
I agree. I think Sarr definitely deserves the shirt for now. He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. Obviously, did have a bit of a rocky spell after picking up that little back injury after AFCON, I think it was. But I still think, he was remarkably consistent considering his age for most of the season.
Yeah,
it's a very difficult position as well. The position he plays, a lot of responsibility, a lot of running, a lot of ground he has to cover. He has to be good going forward. He has to cover a lot of ground going back. And I thought he'd done a really good job.
Nicholas John on TikTok says Daigle is spot on about Gallagher. There was a comment there saying, who's number 10 on the tenable? It's Musa Sissoko, my friend. Matty said would love Dele. Come on, Matty.
Go on.
Benjamin says, who would you want us to sign as a striker? We'll get into that, my friend. We'll get into that. Don't you worry about that.
All right, another minute.
But like I said, please do go and head over to TikTok and drop us a follow. We are trying to make a big push on there to build that platform. So any of your help would be very grateful. Michael Kenyon Walter says, love the show, guys. As always, top tier content. Keep the work up, guys, or keep the great work, guys. Big up to you. Where's Mr. Box Office gone? I saw Mr. Box Office in the comments before.
He wants to call in.
He wants a debate. The Professor of Truth and Entertainment. All right, we're into here. 5 minutes. Pape Matar Sarr is our number 8.
53% of the vote.
And I think that's fair. In the number 10, you're going to have...
What was that?
I was asking about the bit on the right side.
Yeah. In the number 10, you've got James Maddison. You've got Lucas Bergvall. You got
Eze.
I don't know if Eze is realistic anymore. Maybe Gibbs White.
Gibbs White, I guess.
Maybe Dele. Just for fun.
Well, we know who's going to win this one.
Or shall we just put in Maddison? Because we know Maddison is definitely going to be our starting 10 next season.
Kulusevski. That's a nice one.
All right, Kulusevski. There you go. 5 minutes, guys. Who should be in the 10? Maddison, Bergvall, Gibbs White, Kulusevski.
Maddison is mediocre, someone says.
Well, to be honest, he started off the season on fire, got that injury, and never really recovered. That was the honest truth of it. Oscar Peters says, not Gibbs White. He's extremely overrated.
Extremely. Oh, he's bottom of the vote at the moment.
Ethan Bates says, who was the last loan player we signed that was successful apart from Kulusevski for 6 months?
The last loan player we signed.
Well, on the back of a Timo Werner loan, we loaned him again. So can you say that was a success?
Werner, Romero,
Porro.
They all count.
Andy Booth.
Longley.
Stefan Dalmat.
Ricardo Roca.
Was Rocker alone?
Oh no, wait, did we sign
We signed him, didn't we?
Bale.
Ah, Bale was alone. That was Bale gets a lot of shit for his second spell here, but I don't understand why, because I thought he was good.
Yeah, he was good.
He got hung out to dry because of that North London derby. But, you know, how many goals did he get? He got a fair amount of
11
goals.
Premier League goals.
Yeah.
Although one that did include a hat-trick against Sheffield United, 2 against Palace and 2 against Burnley, I think it was. So that's...
Someone's got to put him away.
7 goals in those 3 games.
Bloody scored a hat-trick in the Premier League.
Yeah, he did. Stop asking obvious questions. Well, Maddison's well in the lead here.
Yeah, I think this one's a foregone conclusion. I think we could just end it now.
All right, Madders gets the number 10 slot.
Right wing, we'll go.
So you've
Brennan
got
Johnson,
Brennan.
Kulusevski. Who else we got?
Edwards.
Marcus Edwards. Pedro Neto. Doue will be on the other side. I'm saying Takefusa Kubo, Bakayoko. We haven't been linked with Bakayoko. If we were linked with him, he'd be up there for my number 1 choice. I love Bakayoko. How long have I been banging on about Bakayoko for?
A long time. Always they're out of the Euros now. There'll be some movement. But Liverpool, it's going to be interesting to see what movements Liverpool make.
All right, so Brennan Johnson and Pedro Neto storming into a lead. Neto at the top with nearly 50% of the votes. It keeps flickering with from 47, 48, now 46. Brennan Johnson, 32 now.
Neto is so injury prone. Healthy Neto all the way, says Juno D.
Yeah, that's the thing. Healthy Neto all the way, I agree with. But can we get a healthy Neto?
This isn't healthy Neto. This is the Neto that we have. You can decide whether he's healthy or not.
Exactly.
This is the Neto that we've... But the thing is, whenever he gets on the pitch, he's good. He's not one of these players who he gets in, like Maddison, who took like ages to get back to his best, you know? Every time he comes back from injury, he comes back firing.
This geezer has an ACL, and he comes back and first game back puts in a worldie.
Yeah, he's just comes back firing. Johnson is a good super sub, not starter. Are links to Neto strong?
I think they are fairly strong, to be honest.
Well, they're saying he's on the list. No one's really saying about bids or anything yet.
Yeah. But, like, it's not just, like, from Peter O'Rourke or Team Talk, you know, it's from Fabrizio Romano and Paul O'Keefe.
Isn't Neto injured at the moment? No, he played at the Euros, so I don't think he's injured. What app are you guys using to build the lineup? Is it called Lineup Builder?
What is it? What app is it?
Lineup Builder.
Lineup Builder, yeah.
It's getting a bit tighter between Brennan and Neto.
You
No
got
one's injured in Edwards.
You got 4 more minutes to decide who you want your right winger is going to be for next season. Pedro Neto is winning.
He played left wing back. He did, yeah, he did play wing back.
What are you expecting from Brennan Johnson next season after, you know, a lot of mixed reaction from his first season, let's say? I remember having so many conflicting discussions with you about Brennan Johnson over the course of last season.
I think up until January, the jury was definitely out. But I definitely think he improved a lot from January to the end of the season and actually became quite a consistent threat. Even, obviously, he still had his bad games, but so did everyone in that spell. But he was quite consistently, whenever he got in the positions on that right wing, his delivery was much, much better. He was getting those balls across the face of goal. He was being a lot more threatening down the right-hand side. And he did end the season with 15 goal contributions, 5 goals and 10 assists. And not many, I think, only 3 more players in the whole league got more assists than him. So, for me, it was a positive first season. He did well. Only, you know, once we get more acclimatized to this system and once he grows more as a player, he's only going to improve. What am I expecting from him? I think more goals, I would say, hopefully. I would say if he can get closer to 10 goals, that'll be good. And then Hopefully, look, I think if he can improve his goal contributions to more than 15 or more, I'm pretty happy with that. I think 15 goal contributions is pretty good. Like, I think especially if we've got to have other options contributing. The problem with Brennan getting 15 goal contributions isn't that he got that, it's that a lot of the other wingers didn't get that. Like, 15 is good, it's not a problem.
Yeah, but we could talk about numbers. We can talk about numbers, right? And his numbers were good. But what I want to see from Brennan next season is him being able to impact games a bit better. Because I remember I had many conversations with him. Maybe it was more before January than after January, but a lot of the time he would get a goal contribution but actually play poorly within the game. I want to see him sometimes take a game by the scruff of the neck, really take on his fullback and consistently just cause mayhem down that right-hand side, which I don't think he did enough.
Yeah, and I also, I think that's fair. I also want him to potentially take more people on, definitely, and I also maybe would like him to improve his game on the left-hand side so he becomes a bit more versatile. But I think I'm expecting a bit more from him next season, and definitely in front of goal. I felt like in front of goal, for Forest, he was a really good finisher. We haven't really seen that at Tottenham, so I want to see more of that side to him as well.
All right. Where are we at? 4 minutes. You've got less than a minute, guys, to get your votes in. We've got 273 votes so far. Pedro Neto is winning, but if we have a late flurry of votes for Brennan Johnson, you never know. Brennan could be getting in there. Come on. Keep voting, people. Well, that's the 5-minute mark.
All right. Neto.
Pedro Neto. I guess the good thing as well is that if you do bring in a Pedro Neto, having the options of him and Brennan Johnson on that right-hand side is brilliant, isn't it?
I think so. And those are two really good options, different options as well. And also, you still got Decky there who can fill in on that side as well. So that would be great options.
All right.
And what I like about Brennan is he's got a good availability. He's usually available a lot, isn't he? Doesn't get injured too much.
Exactly. Let's go to the number 9. We're going to go for Heung-min Son, Richarlison, Santiago Jimenez, and Tony.
Who you... No, who was the other striker we were linked to heavily recently?
Jonathan David.
Oh, yeah, Jonathan David, that's it. Yeah, we should include him.
I think maybe if you're thinking of voting for Heung-min Son, bear in mind he will be in the vote if he doesn't win this for the vote for the left winger as well. So it depends where you want.
Who's the other striker? Tony. I think Tony over.
Okay, Tony, David, Son, Richarlison. Brian Daigle, member for 44 months, says, just wanted to once again say thank you to my brothers for all the great content that you put up for us daily. Love you guys. This is the mothership. And big up to you. And I believe Tottenham on Tour, Brian Daigle, put out a very, very interesting interview with the Trust, I believe. So I'm not sure if it's out yet, but Brian, you can let the people know in the comments when it's going to be out if it's not out, because I'm very excited to watch that. Brian put the Trust to task.
Do you still trust the Trust? Someone said Gyökeres. Yeah, I don't think Gyökeres is going to happen. I think Tony is leading, is he?
Tony is leading, yeah.
Wow.
Son is losing. Son is bottom.
I am surprised. Tony currently leading the way, ahead of Jonathan David, ahead of Son and Richarlison. I didn't think people would be down the Tony train, but seems as though they are.
I think Tony could actually be a realistic option. I've always questioned his attitude because of what I've seen in the past on social media and stuff like that. And there is just something when I see him talk in interviews and stuff that just doesn't sit completely right with me. And, he was getting a hump with Southgate not bringing him on, which I can understand because England were playing poor and they needed more attacking impetus, and he's just sitting there on the bench with many other players. And I'm sure other players would have got the hump as well. But maybe it's the way he comes across that just doesn't really sit right with me. But if you're looking at him with from just a footballing perspective, I think he probably is the best one from this list.
I believe. In terms of what we need, I would say probably because David I think is really good, but he offers quite. I think he's just a more physical version of Son and a less clinical version of Son. I feel Richarlison doesn't have the hold-up play. Tony does. And I think that's kind of what we're missing: a player who can really hold it up his play with a back to goal, and also a real aerial threat. I mean, Richarlison's good in the air, but I think Tony's a bit better. So I think in terms of the kind of profile we're missing, I think Tony probably fits it a bit better than David, but I would be very interested in David coming in as well.
Yeah. So you prefer us to sign Tony then?
Over David? I don't know. I think he's the best profile. He's a better profile than David for what we need. Age, but he's obviously a bit older than David. Probably fee-wise going to be a bit more expensive than Jonathan David. Yeah, I guess Tony would probably be the best fit for Tottenham, I would say, if it wasn't for his attitude.
2 more minutes to go. Does the attitude worry you? Like, would that turn you away from signing him?
I don't know. I don't think so. Unless he's going to be a player who's going to, make the dressing room unhappy, or he's going to start agitating for a move if a big club comes in, which I don't think will be the case. I don't actually think his attitude will be that big of an issue.
Do you know, like, Arsenal were heavy favourites to sign him at one point, and apparently, if you believe what you read online, that he actually had a meeting with Arteta, and Arteta didn't like him at all in terms of personality-wise. And you know how he very much, wants the right characters in the dressing room. And Ange Postecoglou is similar in that aspect. So will Ange Postecoglou want that kind of character in the dressing room?
Depends if Arteta's right about him. He might have met him and he might have got a certain vibe, or he might have not liked something. But look, what I care about is when he's on the pitch, is he going to give 100%? Is he going to do his running? Is he going to run himself to the ground? Is he going to do his pressing? From what I saw of him in Brentford, never affected his performances on the pitch. He was always part of the team. He was always part of the collective. He always did his job for the team, whether it be running down blind alleys or running the channels to make sure Brentford get up the pitch, whether it be battling with centre-backs to make sure that he wins his duels, all that kind of stuff. He always did that. So as long as he does that kind of stuff and he keeps it 100 on the pitch, and as long as he doesn't piss too many people off in the dressing room, and there can still be a harmonious vibe even with him there, then I don't think it's too much of a problem.
Yeah, but you don't know if he's going to do that until he does it, right? Is it too much of a risk?
It is a risk. It is a risk, and you have to speak to him, and Andrew's going to have to talk to him, and he's going to have to...
Well, he's going to say, are you going to piss everyone off in the dressing room?
No, you've got to get a vibe about personality. How else are you going to do it?
Yeah.
You can't just go off things on social media. I feel there's not enough to go on there, in my opinion, to suggest that he's definitely a bad apple.
Well, Tony has won it. 44%.
Tony.
26% or 25% now for Jonathan David, 16% for Richarlison, and 15% for Heung-min Son.
You don't like Son as a striker, apparently.
Wow. And we move over to the last position in the starting lineup, which is the left winger. So obviously you got Heung-min Son, Désiré Doué, Timo Werner, and who's going to be the last one?
Eze?
We'll put Eze in there.
Who?
Nico Williams. Nah, I think that's too unrealistic. Solomon. Eze. I think Eze. You guys got to be picking Son for this. Surely it's Sonny.
I think I'm going to pick Eze.
They're going to pick Eze because Eze's all new and shiny, and yeah, I'd love to see Eberechi Eze through the door. But Son is a better player than him, in my opinion. Son is absolutely smashing it out in front.
Come on, Sonny.
Son has got to win this.
We trusted you, viewers, and you're repaying the trust.
Seatle, no doubt, Son. That's what I'm talking about. Eze's in 23%. Son is in 63%. To be fair, I mean, I think we've spoken about it before, but when you talk about Eze, I think in our system he is better in the central area than he will be in that position.
I agree. I think he can do the position out wide. I just don't think that gets the best out of his best qualities. But I do think he's a good enough dribbler. He's good enough. He's got good enough pace to do that role. But I think we see the best out of Eze when he's tucked in a bit and he's getting involved in the play and he's being creative. That's where I think we see the best out of him.
Yeah, agreed. Got 246 votes. Sonny is absolutely stormed in the lead here with 63%.
Come on.
James
Werner only a 3%.
James George Flowers says, I don't agree. Eze in.
I'm not saying don't sign him. I'd love to sign him. I'm just saying, and I also think he could do a good. He can be a good left winger in our role. I think he'd have to adapt his style. I think he'd have to play in a different way than how we see him ball out for Palace now. It's a very different kind of role to what's required to get the best out of him in our system in the current position that he's playing in. He plays more of a LAM than an LW.
Yeah.
Is for Palace. And that's the difference.
Okay, so where's that comment that I saw before?
Mbappe, someone says. Let's get Mbappe.
KM Hong says, does the vote say we should not have signed Werner? Don't get us started, people. Don't get us started. And someone else said, someone actually voted for Werner.
Who are you? Doue only at 12%. Son is absolutely smashing this out.
Yeah.
But all of you prefer Son on the left than you do him up front. I don't think any club will sign Eze this summer for 68. Stop it with Werner. It's not that bad a signing. Look, we just put the poll out, mate. It's all you guys speaking. I only see a 3% here.
If I speak, I could be in trouble. Josh Dean says, Dele Alli, left wing. I'm down.
Again, I don't not like Werner. I just think it's a waste of a squad space, if it's especially as he's only on loan. And I just don't think he's that great. I don't think he's bad. I think he's a good player, can do a job. But like, if we didn't sign him, we could get Doue, and we could get another winger there, or we can have Son there, and it just doesn't. And we don't have to worry as much about clogging out other squad issues, about having too many foreign players, because we could sort that issue out. But we decided to get him, and I just feel like it causes more issues than it solves.
Yeah.
But obviously he's a Tottenham player for the next year, and we're going to back him, and he's not bad for a backup left winger. And let's hope that he can up his game, because there were definitely signs of what he can do last season. But
the reality is, with Timo Werner, once he got injured, our creativity went down massively.
It's also true.
But I think we can safely put Son on the left wing here. We've got a minute to go. He has absolutely stormed into the lead. Nobody's catching up.
Nice
Hyung
one,
Min Son. I think one more poll. With this team, where will Spurs finish?
All right, let's do it. All right, I'm going to end that poll.
So maybe instead of doing positions, maybe you can do title race, definite top four race, maybe, or outside the top four. So let's see this team. We've got Big Vic in goal, Udogie, Van de Ven, Kuti, Porro, Gray, Sarr and Maddison in the midfield with Son, Neto and Tony up front. Good squad options as well when you're looking at the players on the bench. You've got Lucas Bergvall, you've got Brennan Johnson, you've got big Timo Werner, Désiré Doué hopefully. Maybe a new midfielder as well. Radu Dragusin, Bentancur. All right, the poll is out, people. Where will Spurs finish? Champions, top 4, Europa Conference, or mid-table? Champions.
Champion.
Where do you think this team finishes?
Top 4 probably.
Do you think definite top 4?
Not definite, but I think there's a good. Yeah, I think they'll finish in the top 4, especially the depth. I mean, I'm a bit worried about Gray in the 6 playing there the whole season. I think the front three is pretty good, I have to say. I do like that front three. I like the middle too. Obviously, I really like the back 5. The only thing is number 6, really, I'd be a bit worried about. But I think this is better than Villa. I think it's currently better than Newcastle. I think it's better than currently United. Well, obviously we're going on current. I don't know who's going to sign who. But I think top 4.
And you never know what Liverpool are going to do next season. New manager, Klopp leaving is a massive thing. You never know how they're going to pick themselves up from it.
Yeah, I think top 4 would be a pretty safe bet off with that team. I don't think it's enough to seriously challenge City and Arsenal there.
Yeah. What about cup competitions, Europa League? I mean, that team is good enough to win the Europa League, in my opinion.
Good enough to win it, yeah. Definitely good enough to win it, 100%.
And hopefully you can go for long runs in the cups. Hopefully Ange doesn't... Well, we won't have the players to play that Ange played in the Carabao Cup against Fulham. But, you know, even with changes to make that team, I think you can still go on a long run in the cups.
Definitely. No reason why not. Obviously, this isn't a squad. This is just a first 11, so it's hard to say. It's a squad game nowadays.
I mean, when you're looking at the squad, I'm not going to assume, but I'm going to say, just for the purpose of this video, that we will sign Désiré Doué. So Doué, Werner, Brennan, and Doué, Werner, Brennan in the front line. In the midfield, you've got Bergvall, Bentancur, Bissouma.
There's got Richarlison, I'm assuming.
Richarlison as well, sorry. In defence, you do need cover for Van de Ven and Udogie, unless Ben Davies is going to be there. Radu Dragusin. No cover for right back if Archie Gray is going to be starting. But I guess if Porro's injured, you shift Archie Gray to right back, and then you move a Bissouma into the number 6. Then obviously Vicario, we've got 3 sub goalkeepers. So I mean, there is adequate cover there, apart from maybe the left side of defence.
Which I think we are still looking to sign, aren't we? Still looking to sign someone there.
Yeah, but day goes by, every target gets pinched.
Right, going to be Calafiori.
Well, maybe, you know, cast your mind back to the predictions. Maybe we should be going for a Dean Hyson. 25 million, apparently. Romano says that he's going to be going for.
From Juve, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah? What about Hincapié?
Hincapié. He'll be expensive, though, won't he?
Probably. All right. Oh, I've lost the stream. One sec.
All right. What have we got here? 3 minutes. I think it's pretty much signed, sealed and delivered that you guys think Spurs are getting top 4 next season. Would you guys be happy with top 4? Is that what our aim should be next season, top 4 in a trophy? Because that's how I said what our aim should be last season, but then I don't think it was kind of realistic when you're looking at it was just the first year of a project. I was quite happy.
That should always look. You should always aim high. Just because you didn't hit that aim doesn't mean you failed necessarily. It just means you weren't quite good enough. But I think there was a lot of positives. But I think definitely that for Spurs as fans, that should be the aim. top 4 in a trophy. And that's kind of like, I feel like the reason why I feel like we need to hit that aim, because it shows consistency in the league. To continue to be in that top 4 means you're not sacrificing your league results. Just
Shows
for a cup run.
improvement.
And it shows improvement, but it also shows you can balance both competitions, which I don't think we've barely ever shown. We can do that. So I feel like once we've hit that moment, we can balance both competitions to a high standard, get top 4 or top 3, and win a trophy. Then that shows the groundwork for a potential title challenge. That kind of consistency, that was exactly what Liverpool did the season before they challenged for the title. They got to a Champions League final and finished 4th. I think the season before Arsenal had a title challenge, they got to a Europa League semi-final, and they finished 5th. So I think when you do that, that's when you're starting to show you can lay the groundwork for something bigger, and that's what we need to show next season.
For me, it's about progression, consistency. I completely agree. Last season, Conte, with all that mishmash season when he got sacked, we finished 8th. Last season we finished 5th. It has to be higher this coming season. I think anything below 4th is going to be a massive letdown in this coming season, in my opinion. And I think Ange will probably have a lot to answer for, and he'll come under a lot of criticism if we finish below 4th this coming season, surely.
If we finish below 4th?
Yeah.
Depends if we win Europa League. If we win Europa League, I think people will accept it, as long as we don't finish too low. The problem is, if we're come, like, let's say March, April, and we're like 8th or 7th, right? It doesn't matter if we're still in Europa League, he's not going to last.
Yeah.
That's the true reality. But if we're like, let's say we're 6th, and we're not too far off top 4, like let's say we're like 6 points off top 4, so there's a realistic chance we might still get it, and we're in the Europa League, he probably will have enough goodwill that he could stay in the job and then give himself a chance to actually win those games. Yeah.
Don't disagree, but I think that brings an end to the stream for you guys today. I would like to thank you all for joining us today. 1.5 hours of, well, it's been dubbed the COYS show by Sammy, so I think we'll keep it the COYS show. We are Tottenham TV and chill. Big up.
Stream if you're fully COYS.
Exactly, like this all. Here's a quick super chat just before we leave by Tom Witten.
Wow, big up
Thank
to
you
Tom.
so much. Very generous of you, my friend. And he says, pints on me, lads. Happy 4th, and sorry about smacking you in the war. Big ups to all of your great content, and best to Grandpa. Thank you very
Tom.
much, my friend.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Happy 4th of July to you and to everyone else. And big up to everyone. Thank you, everyone on TikTok as well, for joining us. And if you haven't already, head over to TikTok, smash that follow button. And if you haven't already, head over to YouTube and smash that subscribe button. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.